Hello and welcome to Everything Explained. Today we're diving into a question you've probably heard in Italian schools. Why do some places still teach ancient Greek and Latin? And are these subjects mind-openers or relics of a bygone era? The short answer is that the reasons mix history, culture, and concrete skills. In Italy, a strong tradition keeps classical languages at the heart of certain schools, alongside expanding modern curricula. But that tradition is changing too, as students and teachers ask how to make language study relevant to today's world. First, what are we talking about on the ground? In Italy, there are lycei classici, the classic high schools, where Latin and often Greek are core subjects from the first year of upper secondary education. Students spend several hours a week translating Latin texts, parsing grammar, and reading Greek authors like Homer or Herodotus, sometimes in the original, sometimes in translation. The day is long and the pace is rigorous. The aim isn't only to memorize endings, it's to learn how ancient minds built arguments, how texts were put together, and how language itself shapes thought. These schools also feature heavy study of Italian literature, history, philosophy, and rhetoric, all woven around the Latin and Greek foundations. Why keep that going? The historical argument is strong. Latin is the shared backbone of many European languages. Knowing Latin makes it easier to learn languages, to understand medical, legal, and scientific terms that come from Latin and Greek roots, and to see how words change meaning over centuries. Greek brings in logic and philosophy directly. Think about how much Western political theory, ethics, and metaphysics rely on ideas from Plato or Aristotle. By reading ancient texts, students encounter centuries of debate about how to argue, what makes a good life, and how to measure evidence. It's like walking through a city with a map drawn by people who first built the roads you now use. Are they mind-openers? There's a common claim that classical languages train the mind. The logic of Latin grammar, the attention to syntax, and the discipline of translation can sharpen memory, focus, and careful thinking. Some studies in cognitive science point to benefits of rigorous language study in general: improved problem solving, better pattern recognition, and more flexible thinking. Latin and Greek can also expand vocabulary quickly, because many modern terms and academic words come from roots. When a student learns the Latin root aqua for water or bio for life, they start to see connections across science, medicine, and everyday talk. The result isn't a magical shortcut to genius, but a toolkit for making sense of language, arguments, and ideas in any field. Cultural and civic literacy matters too. Italian culture holds a long memory of classical education. It's tied to ideas about citizenship, literature, and the arts. When students study Horace, Cicero, or Sophocles, they're not just learning ancient trivia, they're joining a long conversation about who we are, how societies are organized, and how rhetoric persuades. For many students, this provides a sense of continuity with the past and a frame for evaluating new information. It also helps with empathy. Translating a text means stepping into someone else's world, then comparing that world to their own. That can feel like a mental gym for openness, even if the languages themselves are not spoken daily. But there are valid criticisms and practical challenges. Latin and Greek require time, and the modern job market is diverse. Some students leave with strong language skills but fewer direct pathways into certain careers. Critics worry about elitism or the risk that students are asked to learn things they won't use soon. Some schools respond by offering a range of paths: the classic Liceo Classico for those drawn to literature and history, and other lycei, like Linguistico, Scientifico, or Del Scienze Umane, for those aiming at different futures. In places where social and economic needs push schools to diversify, the classical track can feel like an extra burden. Yet even there, schools often try to keep Latin or Greek as optional supplements rather than mandatory, or to weave classical themes into modern subjects to show relevance. A practical way to see the value is through analogy. Learning Latin isn't just about memorizing endings. It's like learning the brickwork behind a wall. Once you know the bricks, you can recognize the shape of many words across languages. Greek is a toolkit for logic and argumentation. Much like learning a basic set of rules in mathematics helps you see around problems you hadn't solved before. When students encounter a difficult scientific term rooted in Greek or Latin, they have a leg up. And when they read Shakespeare in English or Dante in Italian, the grammar they learned helps them parse complex sentences with less struggle. So are these subjects mind-openers? They can be, in the right hands. They offer a different way of looking at language, a way to connect with centuries of thought, and practical skills in vocabulary and reasoning. They're not magic bullets, and they shouldn't be used to exclude other paths. But they can expand a student's horizon, cultivate careful thinking, and give tools for understanding the words we use every day. If you're choosing a school for a child, or guiding a curious student, consider not only what a subject costs in hours, but what it opens up in thinking, and what it helps you see about the world. Because sometimes the oldest languages are the best key cards we have for decoding the present.